everyone. So last week we spent some time talking about how we could multiply whole numbers, and we learned 4 different strategies on how we could do that. Now that we understand how to multiply effectively, we're going to talk about dividing whole numbers. And today is just introductory. As we go further, I will teach you some strategies, but today is very introductory in nature, and we're talking about vocabulary, and I teach you one strategy. So let's go ahead and get started. So before we understand our strategy for today, we have to go over some basic vocabulary terms. So first thing is divisor. It helps if you say it out loud. So after I say the word divisor, maybe whisper it to yourself. It'll help you learn it better. So divisor is the number by which another number is divided. Dividend is the number that is divided by another number. And then we have quotient, which is the result or answer to a division problem. So if you weren't sure what those words meant before, you should understand what they mean now. And so that we can apply that vocabulary, we're going to go through some examples. So we're going to learn how to apply what we just learned about vocabulary. So this is an example of a dividend. A dividend is the number that is being divided. It's the bigger number usually, the bigger number that is being split up into smaller pieces. The amount of pieces that's being divided into is the divisor. So 12 is the dividend, 3 is the divisor, and then our answer or our quotient is 4. So 12 divided into 3 groups equals 4 things per group. So because you're in upper elementary, you probably learned this in 4th grade last year. If you didn't, this is called long division. If you see the long division symbol right here, it sort of looks like an L that got flipped to its side. So it's a long division. So our dividend starts out underneath. It's sort of like a division house. So the dividend is in the house. The divisor is outside the house, and the quotient's on top. So the divisor is what is being, or how many times the dividend's being split. So it's being split 3 times. What's being split is 12. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4. 4 is the answer, or also known as the quotient. So now that we understand the parts of a division problem, we're going to talk about partial quotients. Last week we talked about partial products, which means the partial answers to a multiplication problem. So now we're going to talk about the partial answers to a division problem. So it's a strategy used to divide multi-digit, which means more than 1 digit numbers. The quotients you get in each step are called the partial quotients. So some examples. How are we going to apply this? So we have 2,124 divided by 4 equals a number. We don't know what the number is, but that quotient is a question mark because we're going to figure it out. So we have the dividend, which is 2,124. That's the number that's being split. The divisor is how many times is it being split, and the quotient is what we're going to get as a result from that. So our first step is to split up the dividend into place values. So if you see, we have 2,000, and then we have 2,000, 100, 100, 20, 20, 4, and 4. So we split up the dividend into different place values. So 2,124. It's sort of like expanded form. So 2,000 divided by 4, 100 divided by 4, 20 divided by 4, and 4 divided by 4. And we get 500, 25, 5, and 1. So I wonder what our next step could be. So you might have already guessed it, but our next step is to add up the partial quotients. Our partial quotients are the answers to the partial division problems that we got whenever we split up the dividend into place values. So whenever we add together 500 plus 25 plus 5 plus 1, our end quotient or end result is 531. So after we add up our partial quotients, it's a really good habit to circle our answer. Even if you're learning virtually, whenever you're showing scratch work, go ahead and circle that answer. That's going to help you and your teacher organize your work and understand your way of thinking. Especially as you get older and your work takes up an entire page, circling your answer is going to help you stay straight and sane. If you have any more questions about this, feel free to message me. And please refer to this video today whenever you're working on your assignments. It'll help you do better and get a better grade, but ultimately it'll help you understand better so you can understand our next concept in math. Bye, everyone.